you want to attend the next ARG regional event? Make sure you pre-register online at dragonballsuper-regionals.com. The next event is scheduled for the weekend of February 24th and 25th in beautiful Charlotte, North Carolina. Can't do a regional event? Don't forget about the ARG State Championships in your area. Visit argcircuitseries.com for a list of locations by state where you can battle for the title of champion on February 17th or 18th. Participants will be playing for 7 exclusive top 8 cloth playmats, 1 exclusive champion cloth playmat, 1 round bye to ARG Circuit Summer Invitational, and much more. If you want to really test your skills, head to Pro Play Games in Miami, Florida, home to 3 regional champions and an additional prizing of up to $1,000. Or find your way to the Comic Vault in Altoona, Pennsylvania to face off against KitchenTableMeta pro players. If you can't make it to one of these events, don't forget to visit argcircuitseries.com to find a list of stores holding ARG state championships near you.
All right, guys, we're live for round 3. I guess not live, but we are recording for round 3. We have Roland Hacker on the left playing androids, and James Coss on the right playing Trunks. Super excited for this matchup, guys. We love Trunks. Trunks is a great leader. And as it turns out, Androids is having a dominating performance here at Indianapolis, which we expected. Like we said, the 2 decks we expect to see the most is Vegeta and Soul Striker. As it turns out, Android's pretty good against both those decks. And Trunks can be pretty good against both those decks as well. So I think that's why we're seeing such a good performance by both of these decks going into round 3 here, both 2-0. We're going to have James starting off with that red energy, playing Mighty Mask down as red energy. I'll tell you, out of all the red energy you want to play in your deck, Mighty Mask is probably the worst, but he's wanting to go for that combo turn 1, which is very good. It's like he's going to want to put a little bit of pressure on his opponents, draw that card out of his life. Can be tricky, because you don't want to give Android too many cards, and this is unfortunately going to end up resulting in Android getting 4 cards. He's going to get 2 cards if he takes his damage, and then he's also going to get another card. 2 more cards when he awakens on his following turn. I'll knock him to 6. So James going to 7 here off of his attack, and it looks like Roland's going to decide to take that. He's like, you want to get me 4 cards? That's fine. Looks like James with another Kaba in hand, though. So see what he decides to do. Going to attack Roland here for 10,000 and 10,000. Roland's probably going to think, you know what, something's up. He used Trunks here. Maybe another Kaba could be coming. I might just want to use this Boo here to stop this. We'll see what happens. Remember, Trunks has already got his draw off the turn off of his combo. He used that off the Trunks combo. And so because of that, any other combos used this turn are going to be inefficient. And what I mean by that is, like, he's not going to be able to draw a card. They're not going to be able to replace themselves like they normally do. And Roland going to take it, go to 5. This is going to make it so if James wants to attack with the second Cobb in hand, he can awkwardly knock his opponent to 3 life. Let's see what James decides to do here, though. It's also possible, too, if James uses a second Kaba, it's going to be kind of unlikely that Roland can kill both in the next turn. I think that's why James was trying to bait with that Trunks attack. I think he was actually trying to get him to use Boo, and that way the second Kaba could be safer. But he's going to go ahead and pass the turn to James. To Roland, I'm sorry. Our Androids player. Roland playing that blue-green Androids, which is a little off kilter. I mean, I think blue is a very powerful color, but I think it isn't quite at home in Androids. He does have negates in the deck, which is something that you don't really expect from Androids. However, you lose either the consistency of mono green or the card draw of mono red. So I'm sorry, not mono red. I'm sorry, of blue red green. So blue green is a little bit more defensive, but I don't think Android really wants to be defensive. They want to be more aggressive. So interesting choice, but he's 2-0, so something's going right. Roland checking through his hand, seeing what he wants to do here. Now he does. James does have 1 more turn before he has to worry about the. There's objection coming down. Interesting. Though what's interesting about blue is that one of the big downsides of Androids that we always talk about is Androids' turn 1 plays are all kind of bad. They really don't have one. They have Cell's Birth, which can be great on turn 1, but also pretty terrible every other turn in the game. And so because of that, you don't really see Androids having very strong turn 1 plays. Blue does bring them Boo. It brings them Boo, Bulma, all these great turn 1 plays. And so that is a way that blue kind of strengthens the Android matchup. Makes it more defensive. We also see those free Krillin blockers coming down. Love those blockers. It's a great card against any kind of aggressive decks. The fact that Roland's playing the main board seems a little ambitious because I think they're pretty bad against most matchups, but as it turns out, he's playing against an aggro deck, and they're going to be very powerful in that matchup, though James does have access to Goten Family of Justice in hand, and it's always good if you can get value out of that card as the Trunks player. James going to attack for 10,000 into Android Leader. 10,000 into what appears to be 10,000. Looks like his opponent is awakened, but at 5 life. I can see the corner of the life up there. 5 to 7. Actually, 5 to 6, guys.
Welcome to round number 3. You have 30 minutes plus 3 turns, and you may begin.
Okay, guys, I'm trying to pay a little more attention to the player's actions here instead of worrying too much about the life. So I'll do my best to keep track of the life, but I'm, again, making sure that the players play efficiently here. Get a lot of criticism with that. I want to make sure I improve my stream or the coverage each time we go to one. So James decided what he wants to do here. Now, he did kill one of the blockers with Goten, like we said. Getting value off Goten always feels good in the Trunks deck because you get to kill something, draw a card, buff up your attack, 15,000 to 10,000 right now. It looks like Roland is going to snap take that and go to 4 life. This is the scary part. Scary time to play against the androids when they're at 4 life. They can do some crazy stuff. James attacking with Saiyan Kaba. Now, the thing is, autos do trigger before blockers, and so James is going to have to decide if he wants to take a life before his opponent decides if he wants to block. So my guess is if James decides to take a life here and go to 5, Roland's probably going to just decide to block. So player's doing that a little out of order. There it goes. Yep. And the Krillin dies. James at 5 life. Quite a few cards in hand. I can't quite see Roland's hand. I'm guessing with that small novel he has in hand, he probably has the cell combo in there, which is going to be pretty devastating with Trunks, though Trunks has the ability to draw back up very quickly. Colby, a Kitchen Table Meta pro team member, actually is playing androids as well, and said he actually knocked the Trunks down to 2 cards in hand, and the next turn he went back up to 11. So Trunks has the tons of card draw with Vegito here to save the day. You know, the promo BCC Gohans just can honestly draw so many cards, especially on their awakened turn. They're able to use that combo effect on the front side and back side, netting usually a lot of cards. So we see Twin Sister coming down in the energy area for Roland. Ooh, Roland decided to attack 5,000 to 5,000. Boo into Gohan. I mean, boo into Kaba. James decided to save this, going up to 10,000. Interesting choice here because if Roland really wants this to be killed, he can do it off of just the android attack, which maybe he's just trying to bait damage into the Kaba, but he does have another Kaba in hand, so it seems maybe an unofficial way to use the Sensu Bean. Roland paying 2 for that Chilling Terror. What a fantastic card. As it turns out, James just used his Goten in order to kill a Krillin blocker. And this Chilling Terror is pretty scary. If you guys aren't familiar with what Chilling Terror does, we're going to have to pull the card up here for you guys. Very, very powerful card. And one of those cards we talked about during the first game, but just a devastating card. And honestly, I think maybe one of the best cards in the deck. Chilling Terror is, of course, a 3-cost, 1 green, 15,000 attacker. It says if your leader card is an android, the opponent cannot draw cards when their leader card awakens. They still can activate Awaken. So it's important to notice that they still can awaken. They just don't draw any cards off of it. So we're getting back into the game here, it looks like. James kind of going through his hand here, trying to figure out what he can do. Now, he can't play a Trunks and try to dig for either a... Oh, wait. James needs to play an energy. Is he choosing not to play an energy here? Oh, wait, no, I see. This is actually just on defense on the Kaba. Okay, that's my fault. For some reason, I thought Roland passed turn there. See, I start talking about Chilling Terror, and I get all mixed up. Okay, now Roland's passing. With a Kaba in. Man, that's such value off that Kaba. He also has another Kaba in hand. He also has 2 Masked Sands in hand, so that's... Chilling Terror is not going to last the turn, as it turns out. They do go to the Warp Zone as well. So this is going to have the potential to kill 2 threats and actually put no cards in Roland's drop zone. So he can turn off some of those black cards himself. Okay, here comes Kaba. I like this attack by James. I think James is saying, you know, I'm going to attack here. Go to 4. Maybe you'll just decide to take it, thinking that I can't awaken. See what I can do. Also, I can't quite see how many cards are in his opponent's, or in James's drop zone. So it also might be possible he's just trying to get some cards there in order to make sure he can use this Mass Saiyan. Oh, full power kill the Kaba. Devastating. That means Roland runs, it looks like maybe possibly 8 negates. Possibly he runs 4 green, 4 blue. We've only seen a couple of them. Still pretty devastating. So we see Trunks come in. Still no combo yet. So if Roland has another counter here, he could really shut down James's plan of using the Trunks' combo on both. It's like he uses a Trunks, gains a Trunks. Trunks for Trunks. Roland deciding when he wants to play here. Going for 1 energy. Play that Sensu Bean. Go up to 20k. So there's 5. He's shown the stream. Shown everybody 5. Shown his opponent. And there comes Mass Saiyan. Killing those. Remember, they do go to the warp. Let's see if he puts them in the warp effectively here. Doesn't. Yep. Good job by Roland. 20,000. Looks like he's moving his warp zone up in front of his deck, just so it's more clear to his opponent. So 20,000 and 20,000 double strike here by Roland. I mean, by James. Okay, gonna awaken on the combo phase of the Mass Saiyan. Draw 2 cards. He can also combo on this as well. James forgot to pay the 1. I missed it. Thought I was doing so good, guys. All right, so 25,000 double striker coming in on Roland here. Trying to figure out if he wants to take the 2 or stop it. Roland with surprisingly few cards in hand, considering his early awaken and how much life he's at. That's a 4-4 on the life, guys. Again, I'll be behind on the life. I will try my best to keep up. I'm just really paying attention to what the players do here. I don't want to miss anything important. So this is 30,000 double strike going into Roland. And Roland does have another Kaba in hand, so it's possible that he's just trying to bait out this 2 damage and try to... His opponent looks like tapped out with only 1 energy up, maybe 2 energy up. Yeah, it looks like 2 energy up, so 4-4. Going into Android's power turn next turn. At 5 energy, they can do some crazy stuff. So I like that James is deciding to pull the trigger here, do some damage, put a lot of pressure on his opponent, making him have to use some of those cards he's scared about as combo pieces instead of as threats on the board. Very smart.
Can I have the following Yu-Gi-Oh players to the front stage, please? Griffin Boscia and Jalace Ryan Thomas.
Okay, Roland playing out Chaco. Bouncing the Goten, and then playing out Android 20 in order to get up to 30,000. Which does beat it. His opponent's at 25 right now, so yep, does beat it. James probably going to decide to pass here. He could play a Kaba out and put a little bit more pressure on, or play out, maybe attack Kaba, play Sensu Bean, go back up, play some more threats. But I think it's probably just not needed. Really excited to see what he decides to do. Love watching Trunks play. It's always exciting. He does decide to play the combo, though, guys. Attacking in for double strike. Remember, the card is at 15,000. I mean, he's going to go 3. But his opponent's leader is at 15. So, I mean, 20, I'm sorry. So 15 and 20, he's actually just automatically losing. See if he decides he's going to have to combo something. So it's going to be 20 to 20. Double strike. Force his opponent to have something or take 2. All right, so it looks like Roland's going to stop that damage. Doing some calculation here, guys. Remember, this is Android's power turn. So. Roland in the think tank here, really taking some time to decide what he wants to do. Roland is still deciding. One of my favorite things about Androids, though, guys, is all the different play lines you can take, all the different things you can do during your turn. It's actually a very difficult deck to play. It has so many different play lines, so many different options, and honestly, the overwhelm cards didn't make it any easier, as it turns out. Deciding to play 5-drop Android 18 down as energy. Pretty interesting considering I think that's one of the best cards in the deck. Ooh. Roland with a very aggressive Android deck. Very, very aggressive. I mean, I'm sorry, very, very defensive. Actually, the opposite of aggressive, as it turns out, being defensive. Running what seems to be multiple mainboard negates and multiple blockers. Now, this Android 16 can be very difficult for Trunks to get through, but if James can find a way to find Goten Family of Justice, he can remove this blocker and start putting a lot of pressure on Roland. All right, James tacking it for 15,000. Gonna draw off the attack. Looks like he got maybe a Piccolo off of that. It's like he's deciding no combos here. Trunks being a fantastic deck with new overwhelm cards, by the way, guys. He gets to essentially put a card in the drop area for free. Off the combos while still putting pressure, so he can be very aggressive towards his opponent, which is fantastic, and you know, fuel that overwhelm. I love the deck. There's Gohan. I love this card. I love having cards that are so aggressive. Roland's going to just snap block this, which is good. Again, what's good about this play though is like James is going to lose this Gohan, which is unfortunate. But what's important to know here is that he's losing it efficiently, though. Like, he is using a Gohan that, when it attacks, it replaces itself. And so, while it is unfortunate, it's probably about as efficiently as he can remove it with what his current hand is. And he can't just pass start. You can't let androids get too much energy, because once they get more and more energy, they put more and more androids out. They do a bunch of shenanigans. So you want to eat the android's hand as fast as possible, if you can. James coming in with 15,000 attacker. Taking a quick look through his drop area. What he wants to do here is he wants to try to knock his opponent down to 2 life, it looks like, in Mass Saiyan, possibly, in order to try to win this game. But you have to think, if Mass Saiyan was his game plan to win the game, there's probably a more efficient attack than Gohan, though he probably needed to do that in order to dump as many cards as he could. Roland taking it, going to 2. What a dangerous, dangerous game. There's Mass Saiyan. We just talked about it, guys. There it is, attacking in. 20,000 double strike into 15,000. James with quite a few cards in hand, a lot of those being Piccolo. Goes up to 30. Goes up to 40. A Jiren, that's so 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70,000 double strike. Can Roland beat this? Not looking unlikely, as I don't think Roland has a Trunks at all in his hand. And he says, we're just going to go to game 2. 70,000 Mass Saiyan, pretty scary. Going to go to game 2, guys. Awesome. I love it, guys. Love watching this Trunks deck play. It's always such a fun time to watch. Always a great deck. It just gets even better with these Omeron cards. This gives it so much more reach that the deck didn't have before. And it's again, one of the most important things. I'm going to pop over to the caster desk, guys. One of the most important things when you're playing Dragon Ball Super, guys, is to make sure that you are effectively playing the game. You know, you want to efficiently play it. You want to play in a way to where you have a lot of cards in hand if you can, or a lot of board presence. You know, you want to find a way to be efficient. I mean, this is you know, essentially the case in almost every card game that you play. But in other card games, sometimes there's ways that you can sneak back into the game. You know, like you play out like a big 9 drop or 10 drop that comes in, and like, you know, you win the game. Dragon Ball Super is not like that. Dragon Ball Super is a very tempo based game. It's a very how do I say this? It's a game that makes it so a game that's played efficiently. You have to make sure that, you know, each card is getting you something, and if that card isn't giving you something, that you find a way to make use of that card in another way. And I think that's something that Trunks is starting to do with these new Overrealm cards, where they're playing combo cards and they're replacing that card's effect, that card, which has always been powerful, but not quite effective enough, because you're not actually getting a card from that, right? If I play out Champa, draw a card, you know, get a card from it, I'm just trading a card for a card, which again is good, but not effective, not efficient. I'm sorry. And so what's happened though with the new Overrealm cards is it's starting to turn that into being more efficient, right? So you're playing a card for free, you're putting in your drop area for free, you're getting value out of it usually, you know, when you're attacking, and then you can also have a pretty sizable drop area in order to get those Overrealm cards online. I'm going to pop up the studio mode here, guys, and fix this overlay. I know I talk a lot, as it turns out, but I want to get everything set up here, guys, for your game too. Oh, I'm so excited, guys, with this matchup. There's so many things that I'm you know, honestly, it's so funny is in this matchup, I'm trying to think what the Android player can sideboard in to try to help him out in game 2. But honestly, almost everything I could think of, he actually had main board, right? You have Android 16s, you have Krillin's, the green negate, full power energy, blue negates. Like, all these things are really good. Sensu beans. This is all really good stuff against androids. I mean, against Trunks, and he had it all main board. Didn't seem to help him out too much. So I'm pretty actually kind of worried for the androids player. I think that the androids player is going to have kind of an uphill battle here, which worries me. All right, guys, we're going to get the score set up here. Get everything ready for you guys. Our players are in the mulligan phase right now, getting ready to move into game 2 of this series. Such a fantastic series, guys. Oh, they give each other fist bump. I missed it. Oh, no. I was in my gameplay. We'll get into the gameplay mode here, guys. Can't wait to see how this works. Looks like our opponents are doing our players are doing the mulligan thing now. Getting everything ready, guys. Super excited to see how stuff goes. Very defensive hand by James. He's going to mulligan almost that entire hand away.
If you need help with limited match procedures, please raise your hand and call a judge. Yu-Gi-Oh players at this time in a round.
All right, Roland doing that hand shuffle, getting everything set up. These players are moving right into it, guys. Can't imagine James sideboarding into too much stuff. It seems like his main board is very effective. I kind of expect this to be kind of a repeat. Now, if you're going to sideboard into anything in this matchup, I would just like to have some way to deal with the cell combo. This is something we didn't see Roland do at all, which is pretty upsetting since the blue version should add more consistency to be able to do that. So let's see what happens here. Cell combo can be devastating to come back from. Again, my opinion, Vegito Saves the Day is a great card to help Trunks get back into the game after the cell combo. Okay, Roland taking a second, deciding what energy he wants to play down. Tough decision. A lot of good cards in his hand, as it turns out. Playing Boo turn 1. Again, something you don't expect to see very often. And that is androids having an efficient turn 1 play. All right, James, want to take that. Go from 8 to 7. James playing out Mighty Mask, attacking for 2. Attacking for 2, attacking for 10,000. It's a 2-drop. Attacking for 2 wouldn't be very good in this game, as it turns out. He's going to take it, go to 7. Then James is going to get rid of that Mighty Mask and search the deck for a Goten and Trunks. Going to choose red. Interesting choice by James. Getting a preemptive Goten there might have been the better option. It allows you to essentially kind of deal with these blockers that you're expecting Roland to possibly play. Though I can't quite see James's hand, so it's possible he either has a Goten already in hand, or maybe he just wants to play a Gohan next turn, and he wanted to make sure that he had a play. He had another red to be able to play that. So. He does have a Goten in hand, as it turns out. So in another Mighty Mask. So the red Goten play was the good red. Jeez, boys. The Mighty Mask Goten play was great. Was correct. With the Goten, you don't want more than one Goten in hand at any one time. With another Mighty Mask, you can search it out if he happens to need to. He has the ability to search them out. All right, Roland going down to his second energy here, playing out a twin brother, Android 17 in energy. Again, if I'm James, it's very telling to see that come down. It makes me think that he doesn't have Cell, or he's not planning on playing it. Android 17 being a very valuable card in this deck. It's hard to get me to ever use that card in energy or as Cell in a Cell combo. It's just too powerful when combined with the 5-drop Android. There's Sensu coming down. This is going to allow him to ready 2 more energy. This is a very offensive play. It's like he's going to knock James down to 6 here. Ready 2 more energy for another twin brother. Judge is taking a look at the card. I think what was asked was what's the energy cost of the card, and so Android says the Android leaders say that it reduces the cost of Android 17 and 18s in your hand by 1, which means when you play it, it's a 2, but when it comes back in the field, it goes back up to 3, and so that's really important. So if like you had a 4-drop Android, for example, it wouldn't be a 3 on the board, so it wouldn't die to like Goten and stuff, for example. So
Vanguard player.
So Trunks attacking 10,000 into 10,000. Roland has awakened though, so Roland's at 6 life. Nope, that's the wrong player. He's gonna play Goten and kill Android 17, twin brother. Now I would like to think that's there probably has to be a more efficient target to kill. I mean, I agree that that's a very powerful target in the deck, but if I'm James, I think I'm maybe a little bit more concerned about blockers and chilling terror than I am Android twin brother 17 here. All right, so here comes Kaba down. See if Roland decides to take this and go to 4. James going to 5 life. See what Roland decides to do. Ooh, James going to use another energy. I love Trunks this deck. It just seems so efficient. We're only going to take it and go to 4. James looks like he's going to pay out that Mighty Mask. Attack for 10,000 into 15,000. Mighty Mask into androids. Actually, guys, looks like I might have messed up the life quite a bit. Actually, I thought he was at 6, but he was awakened, but actually he wasn't. I'm actually going to hide this overlay for a second. Let's take a look. 1, 2. No, he's at 4. All right, so I was actually correct. He just decided not to awaken yet. I was going to say, I thought I was on track. But that delay awakening, very interesting by Roland. James passing the turn to Roland. Now, again, Roland's at going into essentially what looks to be 4 energy this turn. Very powerful turn again for androids. Androids likes that 4 energy, 5 energy. That's when they can start doing some shenanigans. They can start playing an android twin brother and sister and start attacking and readying each other, which is super deadly. They can also play out the 5-drop android that I absolutely love. I think it's again a very powerful card. And Roland's going to decide to play 2 free Krillins here. Now it's important to remember that they can only play these out for free if Android's 18 is in the battle area or leader area. Now, once the Android leader awakens, it does turn into 17 and 18. So it's not both. I mean, it is both, but it's not like the same. So like, for example, the Android leader says that it gives 17, 18, 5,000. Doesn't get 10,000 off of it, obviously. So it's considered both for card effects, but not both off of like buffs, if that makes sense. A little confusing, possibly, but. So here is 15,000. What I'm guessing is into Kaba. James decided if it's worth it to save it here, but he's just going to let the Kaba die. I like that play by Roland. And here comes Android 18. Again, guys, one of my favorite cards in this deck. Probably easily my favorite card in the deck. This and Chilling Terror are like just 2 amazing cards. You guys aren't aware of what this card does. I'm about to learn you. So pop this thing up here. If I could find her. She's slippery. Okay, there she is. All right, so. Android. Exterminating Energy, Android 18. 5, 2 green, 20,000 attacker. Double strike, auto. When this card attacks a leader card, your opponent chooses 1 card from their hand and places it into a drop area. Very powerful, considering that now Roland's at 4 life. This is actually a 25,000 4-cost attacker, double strike attacker that makes you discard a card. Just devastating. Obviously, James is going to decide to take that and go to 3. So it's 3 to 4 on James' turn with 2 blockers on the field by Roland. Like I said, these blockers can really put a hurting on these aggro decks. All right, so interesting that James is going to decide to attack with Trunks instead of awakening first. I mean, obviously what he's trying to do here is make sure he gets the effect off of both sides. So he wants to make sure that he gets a combo effect off the front and then awaken and get a combo effect off the back. Awaken draw 2. I feel like there might have been a way where he could have done this and still got value. Interesting enough, though, Roland did not choose to block with this attack. So James can really... Oh, no. James. I don't agree if this good's in play. I think it's good. You remove Krillin, but I think right here you double strike your opponent Did he just play Mighty Mask, or not Mighty Mask, Mass Saiyan and kill both Krillin blockers? Oh, he has another one in hand. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Because now what this is going to do is let the Mass Saiyan actually kill the Android 18 as well. So very, very masterful play by James. Again, I can't see their hands. Though I actually think he searched that second one out with Mass Saiyan, with Mighty Mass. So I actually probably just should have realized that he had two in hand. It's my fault, guys. So we're going Trunks, which is very powerful. Goes up to 35K from 15, 25, 30, 35, 40. Looks like James is going to cause Roland to use a lot of cards in hand. I still expect to see Mass Saiyan come down. This is just too good right now. Play one energy. Going to keep his blue open here. Putting Android 18 into the warp here. $20,000 double strike into androids here. Let's see what Roland decides to do. Very few cards in hand, actually. Maybe only 4 cards. James looks like he might be comboing here. Nice. Goes up to 2 energy. 1 red, 1 blue. Signing up to 25. I like that a lot. 25, again, is a good number. We always talk about it quite a lot. But 25 is what I call the magic number. It makes your opponent have to combo with a Piccolo and another card in order to survive the hit, which I really, really like doing. I think it's very good to put your opponent in that situation. And it looks like Roland's going to just pitch 2 cards. One of them being a Jocko, which actually puts the Trunks card back in James's hand, which is like the worst card to put back in James's hand. I actually don't think Jocko is that good in this matchup. I think it's good to stop from being like alpha strike, so maybe you want like 1 or 2, but it seems very bad against Trunks because you're just giving them more fuel. I mean, a lot of their combo cards just draw them cards. Essentially, their first combo card used each turn is a Piccolo, essentially, and you never want to return Piccolo to your opponent's hand, so Roland with 1 card in hand. Attacking 15,000. Actually, 3 cards in hand. Ooh, did draw on a gate. Going to be very deadly versus the Kaba that we know James has in his hand. So James doing a little bit of math. Roland trying to figure out how much, if any, he wants to combo here. Both players keeping their hands pretty tight to themselves. Hard to get too much information on. We know James has a Trunks and a Sensu Bean. It looks like another Jocko in hand. And a Piccolo. Deadly cards in hand from James. See what Roland decides to do here. Going to play what seems to be a twin sister. Or this is a 20,000 attacker. And if Roland uses it correctly, he could actually put a lot of pressure on his opponent. I don't know if Roland runs Chomp on the deck. All right, Roland passing turn. Looks like he decided to attack 20,000 into Gohan here, clearing that 15,000 threat. Smart move. Roland needs to find a way to survive. He can survive like maybe 1, maybe 2 more turns. It's possible he can overwhelm James with these powerful Android cards. James with a pretty lackluster hand right now. 15,000. Not sure of the target yet. One can only guess it's going to be at androids here. He needs to, again, kill androids before he gets too far in. Draw a card off of a Trunks attack. Draws what looks to be another Mass Saiyan. Ooh, a double strike. Great card. You're going to snap play that. Plays that so fast. Up to 30,000 double strike. Going to play Sensu Bean. with 35,000. And Roland's going to take it. Go too. He has to. It's possible James has the ability to just... Ooh, going to play out Kaba first. I like this. Going to get an extra card in hand, which makes his Mass Saiyan much better. Going to gate. James is going to decide not to use this ability. Interesting. I think if James wants to kill this turn, it's probably better to take the life there. Though it's possible that he can't win this turn, so maybe he's just trying to play conservatively. Oh, maybe there's a Trunks in hand and not a Mass Saiyan in hand. Oh my gosh, gets 2 Piccolos off the top. Gonna put 1 in top, 1 in hand. Absolutely fantastic way to do this. Attack for 15 here. Remember, if he uses the Piccolo in hand, he could draw the other Piccolo. So he can't just like go straight in here if you would like. Gonna use Trunks. Ooh, Sensu Bean. Another Sensu Bean. This android is getting buffed. 2 Sensu Bean here. And James is going to pass. Okay, Roland doing pretty good here. Has 2 more cards in hand, though he did have to dump those 2 cards in order to survive that turn, which is okay. That means, you know, he's essentially even. 3 energy to 2. Roland being behind by 1, but was able to keep the Android 18 on the field. That's a 20,000 singles target attacker, which can be very strong. Especially when combined with some other androids. So we'll see what Roland decides to do here.
Attention Pokemon players.
Roland 6 energy with what appears to be 1 card in hand.
Please find your name and find your seat. We'll begin the round shortly. Once again, Pokemon players.
Okay, attacking 15,000, going to draw a card. What does he get, guys? Can we see it? Nope. Roland, the master card holder here. James going to take that hit. Go to 2. 2 to 2, guys, all tied up. I think if I'm James, I think I try to survive that attack. I mean, I guess he knows he's drawn into another Piccolo, so he has essentially 3 Piccolos, so it's pretty unlikely that Roland can kill him with a double striker here, but I still think it's okay to just like dump a card so that you, if your opponent does have a double striker, it forces them to have multiple ones. Roland trying to think through his turn here. This is a very important turn by him. Again, one of my favorite things about androids, it's like one of the reasons why I like it so much. I love that it has this ability to be played in so many different ways. There's so many different plays you can make. I know we were playtesting it last night. Colby was helping another player play it, and he just kept talking through all of his plays, and he was just like, man, I just didn't see all these plays. So he's going to actually play Mass Saiyan without using Overwhelm. So he's just playing the 5 cost 20,000 double striker here. I'm going to go ahead and pop Mass Saiyan up here for you guys. 20,000 double strike into Trunks here. See what James decides to do. We do know he has essentially 3 Piccolos. He has 1 on top of the deck, which he'll draw if he plays a Piccolo. Interesting to see what will happen here. Roland going in. All in on this double striker here. Jeez. James just... And we know he still has another Piccolo. Roland having to pass turn. Unfortunate. 15,000 into 15,000. Trunks into androids here. Hey guys, I'm going to pop this crop now while we're waiting. Mass Saiyan 5 cost black, meaning that it has no specified cost. It can be used on literally any 5 energy that you play. It's Overwhelm, cost 1. The only Overwhelm card we've currently seen that costs an energy to do. Now it says this card does have double strike for 5, and it says auto, when you play this card using Overwhelm, choose any number of your opponent's battle cards without blocker, which is why he didn't use on the Krillin, as it turns out. My bad, guys. For which the total cost adds up to 5 or less, and send them to their warp. It's important to remember that those cards go to the warp. And so because they go to the warp, your opponent can't use them as fodder for their own overwhelm cards. So a very powerful card. Also, it remembers, because it says send them to the warp, it doesn't technically KO your opponent's cards, which is important because that means they can kill cards that can't be KO'd. So they can't kill Indestructible, obviously, but it can kill cards like Relentless Goku, Super Saiyan 3. James takes the win with Trunks. 2-0 against our Androids player. Fantastic matchup, fast-paced matchup. That puts our Trunks player 3-0. Fantastic record starting off here. Beautiful Indianapolis. Super excited to see him doing well. Love seeing Trunks do well, guys. It's such a fun deck to watch. Again, I think these overwhelm cards have strengthened a lot of these decks, guys. A lot of decks that we're used to seeing. These overwhelm cards have done that, and I think Trunks is a prime candidate. Now, we know Trunks is getting some really good cards coming in set 3, which we're really excited about as well. But like I said, guys, very fun matchup to see. I think that the Androids had a great matchup against the Trunks player, considering he ran like 8 blockers main board, and I think 7 or 8 negates as well. So you think if any deck could be able to beat Trunks, it would be the deck that runs that many blockers and negates main board. But it turns out the Trunks player just had so much efficiency, it was hard for that Android player to get caught up. So guys, thank you so much again for watching. Again, guys, make sure you check out ARG. Go apply for the North Carolina event. It's really important you guys do that. That's the last regional event on the East Coast. So come check us out. Come say hi. Again, the KitchenTableMeta Pro team will be there in full force, and so will Pro Play Games. Also, guys, speaking of Pro Play Games, go check out their state event coming up very soon. Next week, actually, week after next, 17th of this month. So guys, check them out. Check out ARG. We'll see you guys for round 4 coming right up. Love you guys. See you soon.